I wanted to say is one of the things I wanted to talk about, because especially with that being a periodization, and what periodization is, I don't know if most of you don't know, is when you split your goal and you have multiple goals like most of the people would with a transformation, because they come from not exercising, so maybe they have a low muscle mass, or they don't have the muscle mass they desire, but they also have high body fat. They also aren't very strong, very deconditioned, things like that. So like earlier mentioned, as a beginner, you can do all those things at once, but it's not going to be for very long. You might get 6 weeks at best, maybe let's say 8 if you're stretching, okay? If you're a beginner, where you can reap the benefits from all those things at once, okay? And that's when your planning or your periodization comes in. And you'll hear with multiple people where hey, I have the first part of it, the first couple months, we lifted heavy, I got strong, or I tried to get big, or I tried to, so they split that goal into multiple little deals there. But what it is with the general public, because, we're so swayed by advertising, and, advertising, they touch on our strongest fears and our strongest emotions, like, okay, if you touch a weight, even though the guys who touch weights all the time aren't necessarily hulkingly large like the people in the magazines. If I, not even being as good genetics as them, immediately touch a heavy weight, I'm going to be transformed into Arnold Schwarzenegger, or anyone huge. Just pick your favorite bodybuilder, favorite female bodybuilder, favorite massive muscular person, and they're going to be transformed into that. They're touching into your emotions, not understanding. Well, they do understand, but they know that they can use that fear to sell whatever they have to sell to you. So what I'm saying all this to say is, there's instances where sometimes getting stronger, can later make it easier for you to gain fat loss. It gives you a break from a certain type of training, but at the same time, if you lift a heavier weight for the same reps, you burn more calories. And fat loss is about burning more calories. Creating a calorie deficit, burning more calories than you lose. There's even a case where they talked about Captain Marvel, that in the training of the Brie Larson from Captain Marvel, and they took her, and they started her. They tried to make her strong. Hugh Jackman, gain the muscle, get the strength. The same with Henry Cavill, I believe it is. Henry Cavill. Yeah, Henry Cavill from Superman. And they started getting them strong. They started helping them gain muscle and things like that. And then when it came time for them to lose fat, they built them, they lose fat. They also did something similar with the guy from Creed. But anyway, they split that goal into multiple stages, okay? They didn't just try to do everything at once for 9 months and with the same type of training and make it stick, And of course, and I'm going to say this because I have to say this, because like I said, that fear, especially with women, that if they touch a heavy weight, they're going to get big. What, you look at Jason Walsh, I guess he was the celebrity trainer that worked with, I think it's Alison Brie and Brie Larson, amongst a few others. Those ladies are really tiny. Even after all that weightlifting, they're really tiny. Like, I would be very surprised if either one of them are 120 pounds, unless they're much taller than I thought, okay? But you can see them, he talks about one deadlifting well in the 200s, and the other, pushing a big, heavy car. So I'm saying this because I wanted to get it into your heads that, you want to be more goal-oriented, and things do not happen as much and as fast as as we make it believe.
Brie is one of the strongest girls that I know. Pound for pound, the girl's able to crank out 14 pull-ups. She's deadlifting over 200 pounds. She's pushing sleds with 300, 400 pounds on it.
Workouts a day. And here's the other thing. Again, we're talking about behaviors, and you're matching behaviors up with keep having your behaviors in line with what you need to achieve the goal. Okay, so when we're talking about hard work and you're trying to take things next level, most people, they still stay within their comfort zone with their workouts. Okay. So you're within your comfort zone, but you're asking your body to take you next level. And the way that the body works, you have to give it a reason to achieve next level. So you have to really be pushing, you know. It may not be an all out ball busting, you know, drop on the floor and pass out on the floor and leave sweat angels after every single set. But you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And you'll hear that a lot of these guys are talking about how hard they had to work, how tough it was, you know, and things like that. And they endure the tough pain because they know what they need to do to get what they want. All right. Nutrition has to match the goal. With nutrition, again, it's another case of sometimes you're just going, you know, you might, if you gain muscle, you'll either need to be meticulous and try to make your caloric surplus, which the calories that you eat above what's your normal maintenance or what maintains your body weight, keeps you at the same weight. You might have to do it more slowly and then raise it, do it slowly, small, and then raise it, as opposed to the normal way where, you know, everybody tries to eat 1,000 calories a day and, you know, assuming that it's going to only give you muscle without you, you know, changing anything about how you work out, you know, the effort or intensity that you put into your workout, and then magically everything is going to be muscle, where in reality you usually put on mostly fat, you know, that way. So you might have to be more meticulous about that. But and you'll hear this where most people will just Hugh Jackman, in his interview, he'll talk about, hey, when I was trying to gain muscle, it was this, you know, when was it 4,500, maybe 4,000, doesn't matter. When I was trying to lose weight, it was in the 3,000s. And so it's changing in order for him to achieve the task for that, you know.
4,000 calories a day, maybe 4.5 as I'm bulking up, and then it drops down as I'm leaning up, drops down to about 3,500 calories. Not the
So with that being said, another thing is HIIT workouts, you know, because HIIT is a buzzword now, and when I use it, I'm not talking about the buzzword. Also, I'll state, you know, that I'm using it as a buzzword. Most people use it as a buzzword, and most people's HIIT workouts are not HIIT workouts. You know, they mimic things that people do when they do HIIT, but they're not. That effort, that intensity, you know, it's not high enough because they think that more is always better. With a lot of these HIIT workouts, they're usually very short, and you'll even see it in some of the layout of some of these guys. It will be a short session for HIIT. They might do HIIT and something else. They might do HIIT and do a little bit of normal steady state, slow down cardio afterward. They might do HIIT and leave, or stretch and all that stuff. Do their, what do they call it? Anyway, do their mobilization work before doing the HIIT. And that makes it an hour. But most people cannot perform at that high a level for a long period of time. But for those efforts that you put up for HIIT, you know, there's a big return for your fat loss. And I think that, you know, more of us, you know, when doing HIIT workouts, we need to put it into doing it right, doing it hard. And if it only lasts 10 minutes, and then, you know, we'll work on increasing it or getting more within that 10 minutes, you know, as we get in better shape. But the HIIT workouts, especially when body fat reduction is a big deal, that's going to go long for your efforts. But you'll see that in a lot of the plans there when people are especially when they're doing multiple sessions per day. All right. The last thing, and this is the other thing that people are going to never think about, because when we look at exercise, when we look at losing weight, gaining muscle and stuff like that, people, you know, they oversimplified it because they just think it's just calories in and calories out. And there's nothing, you know, that you need to worry about more than calories in, calories out. This activity costs this amount of calories, you know, and, you know, this activity is this amount of calories, and then we just go at it. And some of the things are, you know, one, and I've said it earlier, you have to force the body to give you muscle gains. You have to force your body to improve your endurance or whatever. Okay, let's push that aside. Also, your body has to recover from it. Okay, so if you're doing more than your body can recover from, it's harder for your body to build muscle. And on top of that, fat loss gets harder because your body will slow down the rate at which it expends calories, you know, in order so that you don't stress it out. Once you start entering more stress hormones in the equation, fat loss gets much harder. Gaining muscle gets much harder. Okay, if you don't take care of your sleep, all right, your blood sugar levels don't act the way they should. So if your blood sugar levels don't act the way they should, when you try to gain muscle, you know, those extra calories, especially the extra carbs, are less likely to be stored in the muscle, so you have it available to use for exercise. They're more likely to be pushed into fat cells, okay? So again, fat loss gets harder. Fueling yourself for exercise properly gets harder, all right? When you look at exercise, most of the exercise, especially when you have to train hard in order to get what you want, there's two nervous systems, okay? There's two parts of the nervous system that you have to concern yourself about. One is sympathetic and the other is parasympathetic. So think of it like this: fight or flight and rest and digest, okay? So when you're training hard, everything is fight or flight, all right? Eventually, you have to flip that switch so your body can rest, one, to help you rebuild the body's rebuilding processes, you know. Two, if you stay too long in fight or flight, you have problems digesting your food, you know, like you should. So you're going to have problems getting all the nutrients that you can from your food, and you're going to be creating more problems. You need that rest or digest. So sometimes it's, a yoga thing where you're doing yoga to help your nervous system calm down. Sometimes you're having different types of breathing, guided breathing. I like guided breathing because you don't have to be too skilled, and most of the apps do help your skill, help you improve your skills to, to achieve that, to do the guided breathing meditation and calm your nervous system down, okay? Sometimes you could stretch, and just having deep breathing while you're stretching can help calm that nervous system down, so there's a lot of things with that you have to do. If you train hard, you got to be able to rest hard and make sure that you recover from what you're doing. So with that in mind, I really believe, like I said, I really believe most people can do it, but we don't train smart, we don't live smart, and we don't live our life in accordance with the goals that we're chasing. So as I go through this series, I'm hoping to spark some thoughts so that you guys can actually start lining up things in order to get the behaviors in the way that you want to achieve these transformations here.